the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, it was incredible because I was actually in attendance for this game. I was at the Bears versus Rams game. It was incredible. I got to tell you, it was incredible to be there, to feel the energy, to be a part of that moment. You know, the Bears in the snow, in the playoffs, freezing cold in January. It was perfect Bears weather. And the Chicago Bears held their own pretty well. Like, Matthew Stafford is a phenomenal quarterback. And the Bears were able to hold their own for quite a bit of time. You know, they took it all the way to overtime. One bad decision ends up costing the Bears from a chance of an NFC Championship appearance for the first time since 2011. But the Bears did a good job. And you got to give total credit to the Los Angeles Rams. They did their job. They did what they needed to do, and it made that game interesting. It made that game what it was. We can break down the numbers now. Matthew Stafford, he went 20 for 42, 258 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he did move that team down the field. It came down to the running game, and that's what got them their touchdowns. Kyron Williams, he had 21 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Bears struggled against Kyron Williams, especially in the red zone, and he was able to make the Bears pay. 2 runs to the right side. The second one he scored was all the way to the outside, just busted out to the outside and just could not stop him on those runs. He powered through on the first one into the end zone right in front of where I was sitting. But it was just a good game for the offense of the Rams. But the Bears defense too deserves credit. They did phenomenal. This is what it looks like when you have a healthy secondary. Is, you know, they can go up against a team who's favored to win the Super Bowl and who's been favored to win the Super Bowl. And for the Bears to be able to have that kind of performance, it is pretty inspiring. Now, they did cost themselves, though. Caleb Williams, he went 23 for 42. He had 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He had the miraculous season-saving throw to Cole Kmet. That was beautiful, and that was right in the corner, right in front of me. It was awesome to see. He goes all the way back about 50 yards and just launches it. How much arm strength do you have to be able to make that play happen? And he made that play happen. I don't know what the defender was doing. He went off towards the ball instead of the man, and he went too far in front of the ball. The ball dropped perfectly right to Kmet. He grabbed that thing in the corner of the end zone, able to send us to overtime. I did see Rex Ryan was very adamant on ESPN about the fact that if Ben Johnson was going to be as aggressive as he should have gone for the 2 points at the end of the game to try to win it at the end of regulation. I personally agree more with Ben Johnson, because if you don't convert right there, your season's done. If you get to overtime, you give your defense and your offense the ability to keep your season going. So I personally don't agree with Rex Ryan on that one. I think it was a right call by Ben Johnson, but I think there were some wrong calls too by Ben Johnson. I believe that we should not have gone for it on 4th down as much as we did, especially at the beginning of the game. If we had kicked that field goal at the beginning of the game instead of going for it on 4th down, the Bears would be in the NFC Championship game right now. And we missed out on 9 points trying to go for it on 4th down. It's, not what you want. You want your coach to be aggressive. And yes, we do appreciate the way Ben Johnson is a head coach here in Chicago, but the playoffs is a different animal than the regular season. In the regular season, that could work out for you better. But in the playoffs, it's a different scenario. It's a very different scenario because you need all the points you can get. And we did not take all the points we could get, and we earned that field position, and we just did not take it. And I think, having a rookie head coach like Ben Johnson, these are going to be things that he's going to learn. I think the Bears in general, this was, unfortunately, it was a sad loss, and we can all agree on that. But the Bears exceeded expectations this year by miles. Nobody had them winning the division. Nobody had them making the playoffs. I did not think the Bears were going to get this far either. I thought the Bears were going to be a fringe wildcard team where they were going to miss it out by like a game or two. And I thought next year was going to be the year the Bears could make the playoffs. They defied everybody's expectations. And you cannot give the Bears anything less than a round of applause for that. They've done a phenomenal job this year with turning things around. Caleb Williams' development, everything was incredible. But this game is going to be a learning lesson for them. Caleb Williams had a pretty good complete game. Yes, it came back down to fourth quarter heroics, but Caleb Williams was playing pretty well throughout the game. DeAndre Swift ran pretty well. Kyle Monangai ran pretty well. Caleb Williams had a big run there as well. They just, the drops. The drops is what hurt them. And everybody wants to talk about, Caleb's completion percentage and how low that is. But you also have to have your receivers catch the ball. Now, some of the passes were behind the receivers or were behind the tight ends. And I will not disagree with that. There needs to be better placement with that pass. But there are some passes right in the hands or right in the chest, and they just could not come up with those catches. And if you come up with those catches, it's a different scenario. And Caleb Williams' completion percentage isn't taken down as far as it is because it's not influenced so much by incomplete passes that could have been caught. Another decision with Ben Johnson I didn't really agree with. If you kept watching how the running game was going for the Bears, when the Bears were running it to the outside, they were getting a lot more production out of their running game. When they're running it up the middle, that's where the Rams can make their defensive plays happen. And that's what they were doing. They were shutting down the runs down the middle. If we bounce it to the outside a little bit more, we have a better chance of doing that. And I think that if we're able to throw underneath more, we would have had a better chance too. I was telling the people sitting around me at the game, that last interception reminded me a lot of a Grossman interception where he had Monangai underneath, dump it off for a 4-yard gain. Yes, Monangai's going to get popped from the guy behind him, but you're going to retain the ball. You're going to have another down to fight for. I know it was miscommunication with DJ Moore, but do we really have to go for it right there? We don't have to make that big play. And DJ did stop up. The ball was a little bit further ahead than, Caleb Williams wanted it to. There was not the communication. But at the end of the day, go for what they give you. And that's what I've been saying the entire game. The Rams are giving you underneath. Take the little yardage and keep building up and building up and building up on it. The Bears were only a first down away from kicking a field goal to win that game, and they just could not do it. So that's the frustrating part. Just take what the defense will give you, especially a defense like the Rams who are doing so well. Shula, the defensive coordinator, has done phenomenal things with this Rams defense. And, you have to look at this matchup. The Los Angeles Rams are a team from the beginning of the season favored to be a Super Bowl contender. The Chicago Bears were counted down and out. Nobody knew what to expect with the Bears. And the Bears went all the way to the divisional round at home against them in the snow, with the wind, in the freezing cold. And it was a great game. It was a great game. I will never, ever, ever say, even though the result was the way it was, that it wasn't a phenomenal game, because it was a great football game by both the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. It just came down to decision-making, and the best decisions were made by the Rams at the end of that game, and the not-so-good decisions were made by the Bears at the end of that game. And it's just going to be a learning thing. But the thing is, with the Bears, especially after this game, there's so much positivity. Yes, it was a heartbreaking loss, but it did not feel the way it did after the Packers beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game. It did not feel like the way it did after the double doink, where there's actual genuine hope about this team and a belief that the Bears can get back to this same point again. And we're going to have to see if that happens or not. The schedule is going to get harder, but if the Bears can treat this offseason the way that they should treat this offseason, where they put in the work they did last year and made sure to keep getting better and better and better, and Ben Johnson keeps developing Caleb Williams hard and hardcore and coaching him hardcore and just keeps developing him more and more and more, the Bears can be more than capable. And then the next season could be a completely different thing. The Bears could be an NFC Championship team. The Bears could be a Super Bowl team, but the Bears also could be like the Lions and not make the playoffs next year. The schedule gets harder. Everybody's going to start gunning for the Bears. And now winning the division this year, it gives the Vikings, it gives the Packers, it gives the Lions an incentive to go at the Bears even harder next year and try to win the division. And I don't think the Packers are going to want to lose 2 games again to the Bears in the season at all, whether it be regular season or match up in the playoffs again. And I know for certain the Lions do not want to have to deal with what they dealt with this year, missing the playoffs. They know they're better than that, and they're going to come out with a hunger, a fire, and an intensity to show they're better than that next year. But unfortunately for the Bears, that is the end of the road. The Rams beat them on a last-second field goal in overtime, 2017, and that is going to be it for the Bears season. We'll see how this goes.